Hey there, if you follow our market updates here on YouTube or our website, you know my name is Scott Talley. I'm the broker owner here at 5Market Realty. We like to do monthly market updates for our friends and our clients who are in the market and who are not in the market just to stay informed. Today is May 2nd, 2024, and this will actually be 4 solid years of us doing video market updates dating back to March, April timeframe of 2020 during COVID. Kind of hard to believe it's been 4 years, but that is something to think about is how we started doing these updates because we were seeing a lot of volatility in the market and keeping you informed. But as you see below, our new normal is no longer new. We're kind of seeing some things stabilize and we know what to expect. And this year's better than last year, but not by much. So we're going to show you those numbers that we like to do, but we also might be making some changes to the market updates to try to inform you on what we think is most important to know right now that's changing in the market. But we'll see how that goes over the coming months. So if you follow us, you do know we like to track 4 major things in Clark and Oconee County. We want to know the total amount of new listings. We want to know the average days on market, average sales price, and of course, the total amount of sales. So we do this year to date, and then we look back and compare the month to last year. We did this again. And as you can see, it's a better year in new listings. We're about 16% up, 767 over 642 last year. And then this is where it's getting a little samey. We're starting to see a lot more normal numbers, and days on market has gone down a little bit, 4%, but it's getting close to 50 days. It's actually over 50 in Oconee, I believe. And average sold price went up to 459. That's a more historic rate of appreciation at 4.2%. And the total amount of homes sold is better than last year at 16.2. One thing to note is we had a really good beginning of the year. We're not having a stupendous spring. We're kind of having the similar spring we had last year. But of course, we're having a lot of higher home sales. Now, this is the month of April over the last 3 years. Compared, we're 10% behind the total listings in 2023, which was disappointing to me, but we actually still have more listings because the absorption rate's not as fast and we still have a lot of inventory that is not moving. Days on market for the month of April did trend up 44 days from 41, about up 11%, and the price another 4% at 498. And then the total amount of homes sold, this was also disappointing. I would have hoped to see more homes sold in April. And granted, since I pulled these numbers yesterday, maybe a few agents were a few days late getting their sales sold, but it's only an increase of 1.5% and almost flat basically, but still behind 2022 at 23%. Now, home sales versus Clark versus Oconee, we started doing this just to compare people that might be in a different market, looking at Clark, looking at Oconee. Total new listings, completely different, 525 to 237. You know, that's a 54% difference. Days on market, as I mentioned before, is higher in Oconee. That might surprise you, but there's a lot less listings in Oconee. So you got the total amount of homes sold at 357 in Clark, 141. I was helping one of our agents price a property for a listing that's coming up. And frankly, there just weren't any comps in 2024 or 2023. Hopefully, the people in that meeting are going to be getting some good news about their values after we discussed it. But you can see that difference is almost 63%. Very different markets with different price points, even though we do lump them together. Now, we're looking at the monthly inventory of homes. This is one thing I want to point out to you. We're at 280 as of May 1st. This is from the Classic MLS, not for sale by owner, not Georgia MLS. Now, we did trend down from 295, but that's still 87 more than last year, which is good. But this is kind of what we're seeing. Notice these numbers here, 280, 275, 285, 280. I think we're starting to kind of know what to expect a little bit more now. It would be great to see that go up a lot, but I don't know that we're going to in the current interest rate climate that we're in. Total monthly sales, Clark and Oconee County. Notice this arrow back here from last spring, how it's kind of level. We want to be at 200. That's what that dotted line represents. Here's where we are, 145, 142 in April of this. So you can see the comparison here. These red lines kind of starting to know what to expect. And I don't think we're going to see drastic changes in our climate with interest rates or anything right now. I'm going to make a point later that I'm not predicting anything. I just don't think we're going to see a lot of volatility in that area. Now, things seem to be leveling out on the sales side of things. Balance market is what we want at 4 to 6 months. This is the monthly absorption rate. You can see here it's 1.95, meaning almost 2 months. Going to be a seller's market. And if you look back here, what did I say? 2.3, 1.8, 1.9, 2.1. I think we're starting to notice the trends of what we can expect in our current climate. This is something I'm going to have a little fun with here on the last slide. So we're 4.5 minutes in, and I want you to hang with me if you stayed this long. I have the ability, and so do other agents if they know, to pull a lot more data out of the MLS. We've been doing this for 4 years, and I've had to go in a lot of times manually, sort of pull things in a different way than just they might report out in some other stats. But now we can go back several years, 10 plus years, and even isolate it to neighborhoods, parts of towns. So actually, we could give you very specific market reports to Beechwood Hills, Pebble Creek in Oconee, Settlers Ridge, 5 Points, which is where we are right now. So I'm going to go back and I want to look at the home values of the last 10 years in some key areas in our community. Right now, you're looking at 5 Points, Athens. 2014, the values, average home sale price was $300,000. Went to $494 in 2019, which seemed like a monumental leap. And then look where we are today, probably a little higher than we were than just a few days ago. 930,000 representing 210% growth in 5 Points, which is just staggering. But wait, let's look at some other neighborhoods. This is Normaltown, 2014, 242,000. Then to 387 in 2019. And then we go 520,000 today in 2024, representing 115% growth. West Athens, 130% growth from 176,000 in 2014 all the way to 405 today in 2024. East Athens, you might think that's different, but they've seen almost 200% growth. And that was where we had some of our more affordable homes, and they've gone from 136 in 2014, which where can we find a property for $136,000 in Athens, Georgia today? Now the average sales price is up $402,000. Oconee County, again, huge growth, not as much as we've seen in East Athens and or 5 Points, but from $270,000 in 2014 all the way to $570,000 today in 2024, representing 111% growth over the last 10 years. So these numbers are crazy. And, I think we all know it, but when you really put them on paper and you can see what's happened over the last 10 years, if we had a DeLorean with a time machine and could rev it up to 88, let's go hit 2012 and look at this different market and take some advantages. But we can't. So let's look at this. This is something I'm able to pull too. This is the average number of homes for sale just in Clark County over the last 10 years. Over the last 10 years, able to pull this now. 865 in 2014. Can you believe that? Does that even seem possible? There's so many people working in real estate today that don't even know what that market looked like. They don't understand 2008. They only know what they've seen after 2020. So 865 in 2014. Look where we came to in 2021. You can see the trend of this graph all the way down. 152 in 2021. So we've got this all-time low supply. Now we have more people than ever that are trying to come to our area, the greater Athens area, including Jackson County, Barrow County, Oglethorpe, Madison, Clark, Oconee. And then where are we today? 247 today. So that trend is up. We're improving, but we're nowhere near what it was before 2017, 18, and those timeframes. This is why what I just showed you when we were going through all those prices that just skyrocketed. Yeah, we can blame COVID. Yes, we can blame the printing of money. That is also a problem. $1 million just isn't $1 million anymore. But this is also why we have just seen less homes for sale and we haven't built up the supply in areas where it's needed. Now, there are areas of the country where it's a different story, where they might have a different supply and demand. But right now in Athens, Clark County, at least for the homes that are the most desirable, we really don't have many of them. Factors to understand, I always like to end it with this. And let's just go back here. Continue to be prudent with your listing price. I know you're seeing some homes in certain areas of town go well over $1 million. Those are different desirable areas. But if you're in more of that, let's say 400 to 700 range, you need to get your price right, because that's the range where you have a lot more opportunity to sit if you price it wrong. Number two, quit predicting future interest rates. We started the year with a lot of people promising that interest rates were going to drop in March, April, then it became June, and here we sit in May, and we really are seeing a little better news yesterday, I guess, but we saw the stock market go up. But don't predict the interest rates. I heard a story of a local real estate person that told a large group of people that come June, they're going to start dropping them a quarter point. I wish that person was right, but more than likely he does not know, or she does not know, what they are talking about. So when somebody tells you what's going to happen, understand that they don't know and make your decisions based on your needs, not what you think is going to happen in 6 months. Negotiations are happening more and more. We're seeing that. If you're a buyer, don't be so discouraged. That list price may come down depending on the property. You might get closing costs. So don't be discouraged and think it's just a seller's market. One of the things we're dealing a lot with that I'll end this video on now that's almost 9 minutes is a lot of questions about that NAR, National Association of Realtors lawsuit, and what it means. I was playing in a charity golf tournament and 2 men in the group said, well, which side's being done wrong? Is it the buyer agent or the seller agent? Who's not getting a commission? And I laughed and I said, you realize there's nothing about commission fees in this lawsuit. It's about buyer agreements and putting commissions in the MLS. And they were like, what? I've not heard that. All I heard was something about commissions going down. Well, commissions may go down based on other factors of negotiation, but they also might go up if a house doesn't sell. So what really is changing is now we have to show property starting July 1st. Buyers must have a written agreement with their agent. You're going to see Zillow probably send you a DocuSign to say, if you want to see this house, you better sign this. You're also going to have an agreement with your agent. This is now going to become a law. This is not like it used to be where you're ready to write an offer and you might get ready to sign a buyer brokerage at that point. You're going to need to have an agreement with your agent in the beginning. So it's important for you, if you're a buyer, to understand that and understand what that agreement says and what you're agreeing to, because that's going to be where the change is for realtors and the consumer figuring out these buyer agreements. So again, the confusion around the NAR lawsuit, trying to clarify that, it's mostly about written agreements with buyers. Lastly, I do want to tell you to contact a professional. People in this industry right now that are not professional. People getting their license all the time, and they're welcome to do so. They can also cause damage if they don't advise people in a climate like we're in. Higher interest rates, a market that can be hard to price, hard to know what to buy and what to pay for it. We try to give you a group of professionals that can help you, that rely on one another. Info at 5M Realty. Anybody in this group can help you. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, be sure to reach out. Info at 5M Realty. 11 minutes. This was a doozy. You can tell I went a little overboard with my information on those neighborhoods and the percentage growth. Really loving to be able to dig into more tools. But as I said before, we might be tweaking these market updates in the future months to kind of provide more specific information that we think is pertinent right now. We'll always track the monthly numbers, but we might change it a little bit. We're 4 years past the big disruption, and I think we're kind of settling in. Have a great May.